If you walked 5 miles straight in any direction from where you are now, you might be tired. Maybe thirsty. Maybe sore. If you went 5 miles straight up, you'd be dead. That tiny fact says something horrifying about our place in the universe. Human life exists on a paper-thin layer wrapped around a rock, inside a fragile envelope of air, protected by just enough gravity, temperature, and chemistry to keep us from vanishing. We call that normal because we were born into it. But the moment you step back and look at it from space, it stops feeling normal. It starts feeling like luck. Temporary luck. And outside that thin layer, everything changes. There is no up. No down. No warm ground. No sound. No breathable air. No instinct your body evolved on Earth can help you with out there. Space does not care that you have lungs. It does not care that your skin is soft, that your blood is warm, that your brain is full of memories and plans. Space is the kind of place where your body is not just unwelcome. It is almost absurdly out of place. That's part of what makes it so frightening. Not just its size. Its incompatibility with us. People like to say the universe is beautiful, and it is. But beauty is doing a lot of work there. Jupiter is beautiful, until you remember there is no real surface to stand on. It is layer after layer of crushing atmosphere, storm after storm, a planet so enormous that one of its storms is larger than the Earth. Saturn is beautiful, until you stop looking at the rings and start thinking about the winds. Neptune is beautiful, until you picture it alone in the dark, impossibly far away, a blue face hanging at the edge of the solar system. And then you realize something even worse. These are the friendly examples. These are the nearby ones. These are the planets in our own yard. The universe gets stranger the farther out you go. There are worlds where it may rain glass sideways through the atmosphere. Worlds with temperatures that would melt metal. Worlds covered in forms of ice that should not exist where they do. Worlds so black they reflect almost no light back at all, like holes cut into reality. Worlds with rings so vast they make Saturn look modest. Worlds made of pressure, poison, fire, and physics that feel less like nature and more like threats. The scary part is not just that these places exist. It's that they are normal by cosmic standards. Earth is the weird one. This is the only place we know of where oceans don't boil away into vapor, where skies do not crush you, where standing outside is not a fatal decision. We spend so much of our lives complaining about weather, traffic, taxes, deadlines, awkward conversations, and stupid online arguments. Then one image of Earth from deep space wipes all of that away. Suddenly every war, every empire, every love story, every funeral, every child, every last human dream is happening on a speck so small it can disappear in a sunbeam. That image should be comforting. It isn't. Because when you see Earth from far enough away, what hits you first is not unity. It's vulnerability. Everything we are is balanced on a dot. And if that wasn't bad enough, the universe around that dot is so large that the numbers stop feeling real. Light, the fastest thing we know, takes years just to reach the nearest stars. Our galaxy alone is so huge that if human beings somehow spread across it, people on opposite sides would live in almost separate realities. And that galaxy is only one galaxy. Beyond it are more galaxies. Then groups. Then clusters. Then superclusters. Then filaments. Then voids so enormous that empty starts sounding too small a word. A void hundreds of millions of light years across is not just empty. It is offensive to the human mind. We are not built to process nothing on that scale. The ocean scares people because beneath them is depth. Space is worse. Beneath you is depth in every direction. The ocean has a floor. Space does not. The ocean at least gives you pressure, motion, a surface, a sense of where things are. In space, if you drift away from your ship, there is no tree to grab, no wave to ride, no instinctive direction to swim toward. You are not falling somewhere. You are falling nowhere. That may be the purest form of fear there is. And the universe has a special talent for turning that fear into silence. Real silence. Not movie silence. Not the dramatic kind where music swells and stars streak by and explosions bloom like fireworks. Space is mute. A real battle in vacuum would be a sequence of flashes with no thunder. A real death out there would happen in terrible quiet. Even screaming would feel pointless, because the universe would not even do you the courtesy of echoing it back. Maybe that is why space horror works so well. The monster is never just the monster. It is the setting. It is the locked station no one can reach. It is the drifting suit with oxygen running out. It is the idea of seeing your ship get smaller and smaller until it becomes just another star, and knowing that for the next few minutes, or hours, or maybe days, all you can do is wait. That waiting might be the worst part. Think about Laika, the dog sent into orbit with no return planned. A living creature launched into the great black unknown not as a traveler, but as a test. Or think about the golden record, that polished little message strapped to Voyager, carrying sounds and greetings and images of Earth into the dark. On paper, it is hopeful. Beautiful, even. Humanity saying, here we are. But there is another way to hear that message. It is a bottle thrown into an ocean so large that finding any shore at all is basically impossible. It is proof that we already understand, on some deep level, that one day all this may be gone. The cities. The languages. The arguments. The buildings. The music. The people who made the music. And out there, still moving through the cold, may be a machine carrying fragments of us long after the planet that built it is dust. That is not comforting. That is haunting. And then there is the question people always ask once they stare into this long enough. Are we alone? Because that answer should settle everything, but it does the opposite. If we are alone, then this whole universe, this impossible flood of stars and galaxies and worlds, produced consciousness once, here, and maybe never again. That would make us precious in a way so overwhelming it borders on unbearable. It would mean the silence is real. That all the darkness between the stars is truly empty. That no help is coming, no witness is watching, and when humanity ends, a whole mode of thought in the universe may go dark forever. But if we are not alone, that is terrifying too. Because then something else is out there in all that scale. Something that also survived its world. Something that may be older than us by millions of years. Smarter than us. Stranger than us. Something that may not think the way we think, value what we value, or even recognize us as important. Maybe the reason the universe is so quiet is not because nobody is there, but because making noise is a good way to die. Either way, you lose your innocence. And maybe that is the real horror of space. Not the planets. Not even the black holes. Though black holes deserve their reputation. And if the universe can contain objects like that, what else is out there that we simply have not seen yet? That question may never leave us. It may be the price of looking up. Because the more we learn, the less the universe feels like a place designed for us. It feels ancient. Indifferent. Grand on a level that shrinks every human category. Success. Failure. Nation. History. Fame. Shame. All of it starts looking strangely local. Not meaningless, exactly. But small. Painfully small. There is something humiliating about that. There is also something clarifying. Because once you accept how hostile the universe is, Earth stops feeling ordinary. It starts feeling miraculous. This tiny world with liquid water, breathable air, birdsong, green leaves, dogs, music, streetlights, hot coffee, stupid jokes, childhood bedrooms, late-night conversations, and people waiting for you to come home. Out there, storms the size of planets tear through gas for centuries. Stars die. Worlds freeze. Worlds burn. Galaxies drift apart. Black holes feed in silence. And here, somehow, flowers grow through concrete. Maybe that is why space scares us so deeply. It forces us to see both truths at once. We are unbelievably fragile. And unbelievably lucky. One day the sun will die. One day Earth will be gone. One day humanity will vanish, whether by time, violence, accident, or simple cosmic indifference. The universe will not pause. It will not mourn. It will just keep expanding into distances so vast they feel cruel. And somewhere in that future dark, maybe a machine built by a vanished species will still be traveling outward, carrying a few sounds, a few images, a few traces of a world that once believed itself important. A child laughing. A greeting in an old language. A photograph of a tiny blue planet. And maybe no one will ever find it. That, more than anything, is why space is terrifying. Because in the end, the scariest thing out there may not be what's hunting us. It may be the possibility that the universe is so large, so old, and so empty, that everything we have ever been was just a brief burst of warmth against an endless cold, and then silence.